Welcome to the Post for All Season Sports Show. I'm Drew Rubenstein here with Dave Racy. And Dave, over the weekend, Chazzys Thomas of Morgantown High School became the first Mohegan in 13 years to win the Kennedy Award, which is West Virginia's equivalent of the Heisman Trophy, if you will. You've been in the area. You've covered some of the past Kennedy Award winners from MHS. What does this award for this community mean to the school, to the fans, the parents, community? What does this mean?
Well, I don't know how much significance it has on the community and such, but I think it's a good award for Chazzys and the football program. They didn't end the season they would have liked, both personally and as a team. Chazzys are injuring his ankle, and then losing twice to their arch rival, University of Hawks. So it's probably a little soothing for Chazzys to know that he's recognized for all the efforts that he gave for actually the past 2 years. He was an integral part of the team.
You personally got to see him play a few times too. Does he belong in the same conversation with the Chris Uras and the Mayfields and the Tony Johnsons, all those great Mohegans of the past?
Absolutely. I think he reminds me somewhat of Tony Johnson, except I think he had a little bit more speed than Tony had. He made one run I saw against Wheeling Park, and where he got the handoff and went up the middle and was met right in the hole by a linebacker, solid, one-on-one, and he got knocked backward, but he kept his feet, and then he just accelerated and went for like 40-yard touchdown. And I thought that was tremendous balance to be able to absorb a hit and then just get going again and go. So I think he's got some good talent. I hope his ankles, his situation is not something that goes on, and he'll be able to get a college scholarship and play college football somewhere.
To see what he did too, I mean, when you just think back to players being able to perform the way he did coming off of last year, and I even remember in May he couldn't even run the 200-meter dash because of the bend in the turn, and his ankle and torn knee from last year was still bothering him so much in May that he couldn't do it. Then to see him come back in the fall and do what he did, I think it speaks a lot about his heart and his desire in those things.
Yeah, he certainly didn't show any signs on the football field up until the end of the season that he was having any problems whatsoever with his ankle.
When you compare him to other players in the state too, I guess the part of the conversation that has come up is Mohegans got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. Chazzys missed 2.5 games, whereas Malik Watkins from Martinsburg leads his team to the state championship. Same thing with Madonna's best player. Should those injuries at the end of the season affect his? Did it affect his stock at all, or how do you look at this type of award and when you're voting for it?
Well, yeah, usually you would like to see him complete it, and obviously the Martinsburg quarterback, his team won the championship, and he was obviously the leader there. And I think when he and Chazzys went head to head, it was pretty even bout there, with both of them getting a lot of yards and leading their teams. But there was a little bit of controversy about his eligibility, which I think might have steered voters away. And I think anytime you take a person or a player from the class single A as compared to triple A, and you think maybe it was just a big fish in a small pond. So I think those were considerations in the voting of his top players. And if you want to look at Chazzys, how valuable he was, well, the fact is when he didn't play, Morgantown High lost those 2 games, and probably they might have won both those had he been healthy, just by his sheer talent of breaking. All he needed was 1 or 2 touchdowns, and he probably would have got some of those.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's conceivable that Chazzys probably would have broken some state records the way he was breaking the county records had he remained healthy. And not to say that Madonna's Ross Thomas was the other one. There were certainly other guys certainly up in discussion. But I think the other part of that comes into conversation with Chazzys is his personality and just the type of kid that he is too. I don't know if you've gotten a sense of that or seen any aspects of it, but it seems like when Kristen Kerlick's covering the Mohegans, or you just hear anybody talking about Chazzys Thomas, he's a humble kid who always seems to deflect praise and give it to other people.
Yeah, I mean, the Wheeling Park game where he took it in on the overtime, the coach praised him for just willing the team in, says, we're going to win this, and first or second carry, he took a ball 18 yards, went right in for the score.
All right, very good. Dave, I appreciate your time once again, and we'll dive into WVU basketball and other topics in the weeks to come. But please continue to check TheDPost.com for the latest on local sports and the Mountaineers. Thanks for watching today.